But in terms of the clients we are talking about, the clients with whom I imagine translators would prefer to work, this does not seem to be a significant trend. Quality is going up. Translators are responding to this demand for quality in different ways. Some translators are adapting and improving their own quality assurance or QA processes, which may be allowing them to more quickly pass the QA of their clients. Others are seeking specialized training and additional certifications for their areas. Work in translator teams is also helping to add to the quality control process. I mentioned that these trends are interrelated. Many are clear on the point that specialization leads to higher quality, for example. Rates. According to the information translators have provided, rates were on an upward trend for several years. Starting a couple of years ago, they flattened out. Now they may or may not be starting to turn down. This is not to say that rates have not increased in some cases. At least 20% of Proscom members do report that their rates have gone up in 2010. The majority, just over 60%, are maintaining steady rates, however. A smaller, though still a concerning number of translators are reporting that their rates have decreased, between 11 and 13%. To look at a trend on rates alone doesn't give us all the information we need, though. Certainly, such things as inflation and the cost of living need to be factored in, for example, and so do all of the other trends that we've been discussing today. If my efficiency is on the rise, so is the potential amount of income that I can expect. If my translation business is streamlined in such a way that I'm doing 15% more work than I was capable of doing just a few years ago, or 20%, or 25%, then that's 15, 20, or 25% more that I can earn. If I'm diversifying to offer complementary or additional services, add that to my income. And we'll get to diversification in just a second. If I'm taking just as long to produce quality work as I did a few years ago, while other translators are getting faster, I'm probably going to find myself under increasing pressure as I start to fall behind, and then I'm probably going to have a hard time of things. As translation becomes more streamlined with the introduction and improvement of tools which aid in the translation process, quality translation, for those who know how to do it, becomes faster and easier. Projects which before may have taken hours or days to complete can now be completed with the same and even increased quality in a fraction of the time. Translators who are taking full advantage of this are staying ahead of this trend in rates, producing more, and even when rates are not rising, earning more. If a segment of translators is producing more, earning more, and some are even raising their rates and still turning away work that exceeds their capacity, this would seem to indicate that there is indeed more room for good translators to do the same. Another trend worth commenting on today is to do with translators' direct contact with end clients. Around 40% of Proscom members report that 20% or more of their income is derived from work with end clients. About 12% work almost exclusively with end clients. In most cases, members also report higher rates associated with this work. These percentages have been more or less steady since 2005, which on the surface would indicate that there has not been much change in the area. However, advances in technology are bringing translators into more and more direct contact with end clients. The Translation Management System, or TMS, is a step in this direction, for example, where clients on the one end of a TMS are entering and specifying orders and interacting with service providers through the TMS itself, overseeing projects, setting quality metrics, and so on. TMs are now growing into complete translation management systems, and nearly 60% of translators in the community have tried a TMS of some kind or use one. Some are not familiar with the term TMS, though they may have used one anyway. More than 30% prefer to work on a TMS. Clients are also expressing preferences for this kind of system. Reduced turnaround times and the demand for higher quality are consistent with this increased and closer contact between end client and translator. This kind of working arrangement would appear to benefit both the client and the translator then. What remains to be seen is when and how this begins to occur in a more widespread way. What needs to be put in place for that to happen? In a scenario where translators and end clients are working in this way, how does the role of the translation company change? What additional skills are translators going to need to work efficiently and get ahead under these conditions? As a side note, another trend, this one still perhaps more in its infancy, crowdsourcing is beginning to happen. Some translators are doing it. In fact, 6% in the community say that they have participated in some way in a crowdsourcing project. For example, in translations done for nonprofit organizations. The collaborative aspect of a group working towards a main goal is one that some find attractive. Some translators indicated that they felt forms of crowdsourcing could be beneficial, provided there were certain controls with regards to quality. But as of yet, there's no clear indication that higher quality levels are being achieved in mass collaboration. There is also still some disagreement over exactly what constitutes crowdsourcing. This brings us to diversification. There's also a strong trend in diversification, which we could divide into two categories. Translators who are leaving translation and those who are going deeper. Some translators are finding they are unable to keep up with the pace of the current market or are dissatisfied with the changes that the industry has undergone. These translators are diversifying out of the translation industry, taking their business skills and applying them to areas outside of language services entirely. Other translators are beginning to offer more value-added services along with their offer of translation. Some are branching out into proofreading, editing, interpretation, desktop publishing or DTP, project management, and other services which complement their translation work and also supplement their income. Some are forming teams which cover these services, enabling them to offer a complete package to their clients. It may be reasonable to expect a client to prefer to work with a professional who can handle both translation and DTP rather than hiring two different professionals for those purposes. Teaching or training in their languages or fields is also happening where translators are reaching a level of expertise and starting to share this with others. This also opens up an additional line of business for those who know how to do something well and can transmit their know-how. And the demand for training is on the rise. Just over 40% of translators asked are diversifying. Another 15% have not started diversifying but are considering it. Demand. The market research company Common Sense Advisory is on the record as saying that as of 2010, the language services market is growing at an annual rate of 13.15%. At Proscom in particular, 2009 reflected a down year, but the growth trend is back to what it was before 2009, and 2010 saw record highs in job activity. A majority, about 60% of Proscom members, also see their work volume going up. Some translators have mentioned that they have enough or more than enough in terms of volume. For demand to be on the increase in a more efficient industry and in a smaller world is not too much of a surprise. In the presentation on the future of the translation industry, a four-part strategy was identified and presented for freelancers to survive and thrive in the industry. Those strategies are still good advice and bear repeating here, so we will summarize them again. They were: be good. Being good means loving what you are doing, translation, and being good at translation. Get trained. Specialize. Join translator associations and associations in your fields of expertise. Collaborate with other professionals. Watch your efficiency and work towards improving it. Differentiate yourself. This is not always easy, and it's probably not enough to just say, I'm different, I'm good, I'm better. Look for ways you can show this to your clients and show them how you are good. Your rate, for example, is a differentiator. Be confident. Know that you are good and show it. Stay abreast of what is happening in the industry and embrace the new tools or working methods that are helping translators work better rather than shying away from them. Charge accordingly. Know your rate, what you need to make to have the living you want to have. Remember that you are the one who sets that rate, and charge accordingly for your work. If you are not already a Proscom member, consider becoming one. Membership is a smart investment and provides you with a high level of visibility to potential clients and collaborators, both on Proscom and on the web in general. Members are shown in the first layer of directory results, the directory and direct profile contact being the most common ways in which jobs are passed on the site. Proscom members meet clients at 4 times the rate of non-members, along with many other benefits, including such tools as the Proscom Blue Board, the database of outsourcers with translator feedback, which is an invaluable tool for new client risk management. The price of membership is negligible in comparison to the return on this investment. Ask a member, or have a look at the list of member benefits and testimonials by visiting the page shown here on the screen. Lastly, let me mention another option for differentiating yourself and for collaboration: the Proscom Certified Pro Network. The Certified Pro Network, or CPN, is a community-driven initiative designed to provide professionals a means to distinguish themselves and to meet, work, and collaborate in a network composed entirely of other screened professionals. Entrants to the CPN are screened in 3 main areas: translation ability, business reliability, and what we call good citizenship. Participation in the Certified Pro Network is an opportunity for professional translators to provide an additional differentiator to others and to collaborate on a deeper level with other professionals. If you're not familiar with the CPN or would like to apply to the network but have not yet, I would encourage you to visit www.pros.com/CPN, where you will find information on the CPN and the screening process. And that's the end of this report on trends in the industry. In just a moment, we'll be live for the question and answer portion of the session, and I'm looking forward to questions and comments on what we've been discussing today. Thanks very much for your patience, for sitting through this presentation, and let me wish everyone a productive rest of the day here at the second Proscom Virtual Conference.